Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about Russian Revolution and its impact. So first, let's see what's a revolution. Can you say what is the meaning of revolution? Actually, students, revolution means it's an action taken by a large group of people to try to change the government of a country, especially by violent action. So here we see that's what happened in Russian Revolution. So the biggest outcome of the World War was the Russian Revolution, which was an unique, and also it's been said there were really two revolutions in the year 1917, one in March and the other in November. And on the abdication of Tsar, the Borghese government, which followed, wanted to continue the war, but the people were against it. So there was a second great uprising under the guidance their leader Lenin, who seized power and established a communist government in Russia. So we'll move on to the causes of the revolution. So first of all, the social causes. The Russian peasants, so the farmers, they were tied to lands owned by wealthy Russians. In 1861, Tsar Alexander II abolished serfdom and emancipated the serfs. The laborers and workers whose number had increased on account of industrialization were aggrieved as they got very low wages. And we see next the autocracy of the Tsar. Tsar Nicholas II of Romanov dynasty had little experience of government. So about him it has been said his wife Tsarina Alexandra was a dominant personality and Nicholas was under her strong influence. So it's been said Nicholas mistrusted most of his ministers and he was surrounded by flatterers. So about Nicholas, they say that he encouraged Russian expansion in Manchuria. Even this provoked a war with Japan in 1904. And that's what been said on 23rd Jan 1902. Father Gapon, a priest, organized a march of men, women and children on the Tsar's winter palace in St. Petersburg, demanding a representative national assembly and agrarian and industrial reforms. So here we find hundreds were killed and many thousands were wounded. So this also, they say this event of this day was also known as a Bloody Sunday. So many people, mercilessly they were being killed. Nicholas was forced to grant a constitution and establish a parliament, the Duma. A Duma gave the middle classes a voice in government. And also we see the opposition to Tsar and also dissolution of Duma. So Nicholas made himself the commander-in-chief of the army. At the end in 1916, Rasputin, who had a domineering influence over the Tsar and Tsarina, was murdered by a member of Tsar's family. The member of the St. Petersburg Soviet were arrested. So there you find on 23rd February 1917, when the Socialists celebrated International Working Women's Day, on that day, the Tsar seemed unchallengeable. And we also find masses of women workers demanding bread for workers waved their arms towards factory workers and shouted, "Come out, stop work." The city's 400,000 workers joined the movement the next day. That was 24th Feb. And at the same time we find abdication of Tsar. The Tsar ordered a declaration of martial law, but his order was not broadcast in the city as there was no one to do this job. The Tsar then tried to return to Petrograd. The railway worker stopped his train. The generals at the front and some leaders in Petrograd frightened by these developments, pleaded with the Tsar to abdicate. On 15th March, Nicholas II abdicated. So there we find provisional government was formed, and there were two parallel bodies to take on government functions. One was of the bourgeois politicians of the old State Duma, comprising paupeted classes. On the other, there were workers, delegates, drawn together in a workers' council or Soviet. Those in the Duma were able to form a provincial government with the consent of the Soviets. The Soviet was dominated by Mensheviks, and the minority Bolsheviks were timid and undecided. The situation changed with the arrival of Lenin. So, the provisional government was really a great failure because Lenin wanted, he continued the revolution. His slogan was, "All power to the Soviets," soon won over the workers' leaders. Devastated by wartime shortages, the people were attracted by the slogan of bread, peace, and land. But the provisional government was two grave mistakes. First, it postponed a decision on the demand for the redistribution of land, and the other was government decided to continue with the war. So the government banned Pravda and arrested all Bolsheviks. Trotsky was also arrested. Kerensky became prime minister, leading a new coalition of liberals and moderate socialists. And we find under the leadership of Lenin a great change. On 7th November, the key government buildings, including the Winter Palace, the Prime Minister's headquarters, were seized by armed factory workers and revolutionary troops. On 8 November 1917, a new communist government was in office in Russia. Its head this time was Lenin. The Bolshevik Party was renamed the Russian Communist Party. So what was the outcome of the revolution? So here you see the Communist Party, the Russian Communist Party, eliminated illiteracy and poverty in Russia. Within a record time, Russian industry and agriculture developed remarkably. Women were given equal rights, including rights to vote. Industries and banks were nationalized. Land was announced as social property. So there was a lot of change. So what happened here? The land was distributed to poor persons. Lenin thought the most important factor for the fall of provisional government was its failure to withdraw from World War. So Lenin immediately appealed for peace. Unmindful of the harsh terms dictated by the Central Powers, Lenin opted for withdrawing from the war to concentrate on the formation of new government. In March 1918, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk was signed. So there was a lot of influence globally. You can see the global influence of the Russian Revolution. So actually the revolution fired people's imagination across the world. In many countries, communist parties were formed. The Russian communist government encouraged the colonies to fight for their freedom. Debates over key issues, land reforms, social welfare, workers' rights, and gender equality started taking place in a global context. So actually they say the change and the revolution really, it was a great lesson to the whole world. So after that we find revolutions in many more places. So students, today we just come to a conclusion over here. So the Russian Revolution took place and it brought a great change in the world history, and the continuation of this world war and it comes to an end with the League of Nations, formation of League of Nations, on which we will see in the next upcoming lesson. So today that's all. Thank you.